Greetings, YouTube. I recently listened to a video or watched a video. A lot of the time I'm just listening to them. And the person was discussing some of the horrible things that the GOP has been doing to uh, the world at large, America in particular. And a lot of it centered around social conservatives and social conservatism as a worldview. And I left a comment saying that social conservatism is a mental illness. And the owner of the channel said, well, she understood my sentiment. She didn't think I should be using, would I please not use mental illness as an insult? Now, in deference to her, it's her channel, I removed the comment. But here's the thing, I wasn't using that phrase as an insult. I was using it as a descriptor. Because at the heart of social conservatism is anxiety and fear. So when I say make the statement, social conservatism is a mental illness, that's exactly what I mean. It is a byproduct of anxiety. You cannot have social conservatism without anxiety at its heart. If a person isn't anxious, they aren't going to be a social conservative. They aren't going to have that worldview. They're going to be able to relax and look at the world around them and accept other people living their lives the way they want to without feeling the impulse to control those other people's lives, which is part and parcel of the world of the social conservative worldview, controlling the lives of other people so that they will at least act or be forced to act and follow the dictates of your own socially conservative narrative. And that's just horrible. Now, all of us are the main characters of our own story. Anxiety can make us very selfish. And as someone that has lived with anxiety for their entire conscious life, I can testify to how this works. I can testify to what it's like to be anxious and to think everything around you is focused on you. To think that everyone is judging you, that everyone is looking at you, when in reality, you are not even on their radar. They are not thinking about you. They're all dealing with their own personal issues, which are hopefully less severe than you, who is experiencing that anxious worldview, thinking they are all concentrating their entire essence on you. You are wrong. Sorry to break that to you, but you are. But that's an individual problem. I individually thought that people around me were focusing on me, were judging me, were looking at me because of my anxiety. It was lying to me. One of the horrible things about social conservatism is that social conservatism is a feedback loop. So you find like-minded individuals with all similar anxieties reinforcing each other. So now not only do you have the internal narrative that there are people looking at you and judging you and things like that, but now you have other people saying, yes, that anxiety you're experiencing is valid. Of course, they're not putting it in those terms, but that's what they're doing on the ground. Where the rubber meets the road, they are reinforcing each other's anxiety. And that makes it immeasurably worse. Because now not only do you have that internal narrative telling you that your anxiety is legitimate, now you have an external source of people telling you that your anxiety is legitimate. And it isn't. Because if it was just genuine caution or genuine healthy fear, that would be okay. There's nothing wrong with genuine, honest fear. Fear can keep you alive. Anxiety is something worse. Because anxiety is fear for stuff that isn't there. Fear about things that don't exist. They are inside your own head and no place else. It's like the deer that can suddenly perceive 1,000 miles in all directions. It's going to be constantly terrified, even though 99.99999% of the stuff out there doesn't even know the deer exists. But that deer is going to be terrified because now everything's in danger when actually they aren't in danger. But social conservatism reinforces that thing, and it's horrible. Because now the social conservative worldview is telling them not only are they the main character of their own story, but they are the main character of my story. They are the main character of your story. And you are at best a minor character in your own story. And in their story, you don't matter at all. You are just a faceless, gray mass of other. You are the out group, which can be castigated, which can be oppressed, repressed, which can have its rights curtailed, suspended, removed, and eventually you can be eliminated because you have been othered to the point of a non-entity. And that's why I rail against social conservatism so much. It is a sickness. It is a mental illness. So when I use that phrase, I'm not insulting mental illness. I'm not using mental illness as an insult, because I don't think mental illness is an insult. It's a descriptor. When I say I have anxiety, depression, and PTSD, it's because I do. I'm not eliciting sympathy. It's just like saying I'm bald or I have brown eyes. It just is. And social conservatism just is a mental illness.